Yeah, so bear with me. How to point it out for you of what I've even just discovered it of Surah X I. That's three I's. It's not I. It's rather three I's. So xylophone I Surah XIII. It's a commentary actually. It's a comment made of the whole text of verse 93 to verse 118. So we have 93 to 118, and it sort of says the comment about the whole text from 93 to 118 of Surah in the Quran. It says, let us eschew evil, but not pay back evil in its own coin. You know, not to pay back. Somebody do you something bad. Actually, what it means here is somebody doing something evil. You don't pay back evil with evil. You know, if somebody do something bad, you don't pay back in the same coin, in the same manner. That's what is being reviewed here. I sort of want to clarify with the meaning of the word eschew, so that we can go ahead to clearly know what the words are being used there are actually trying to sort of mean. If I'm able to find if I'm able to find the sort of the exact word in this dictionary, then we can sort of take it from there to have a clear meaning to it. I'm actually not too familiar with this word myself, so to clarify it just for the sake of argumentativeness. Now the word used here is ESCHEW, which is deliberately avoid using, abstain, deliberately avoid using, abstain from. He appealed to the crowd to eschew violence, to eschew violence. So basically, it's a verb and this sort of meaning deliberately avoid using. So the example used here is he appealed to the crowd, to eschew violence. To eschew violence, that is deliberately avoid using. Not to use violence to do something. So the crowd should sort of behave themselves in so many ways compared to a demonstration where they have to ask the police. The police will sort of use the same word to describe, to sort of point out that we don't want any violence in your act of demonstration. It should be a very peaceful demonstration. That is how it's being used, or that is what the word is really meaning. So using that here in terms of the commentary using it, let us eschew evil. Let us not use violence for evil, but not pay back evil in its own coin. Okay, we must not use violence to sort of to abstain from violence, or not to use violence to sort of act or to be as an answer to most of our problems. That kind of idea is being used here, to pay back evil. Don't use violence to pay back evil. Let us not eschew evil, abstain from using violence to pay back evil, but not pay back evil, okay, in its own coin. In the sense of in the sense of not using a deliberate act of trying to pay back evil with evil. But that is what goes on in the Middle East. That is what goes on around the world, in Africa, in even in Europe and all over. Any civil war that happens, people use payback in coin. There's vendetta all over. People pay back in the same way. But the whole idea here is that it's not about what is going on out there necessarily, because it's actually inspired by the book. But what is in here in this book contradicts. If this is what the commentary comes to say regarding the idea behind the interpretation of what is this in 93, verse 93 to 18, that's the idea, then in some ways, God sort of trying to demonstrate that it's not good to pay evil with evil. But in so many instances, God has advised to sort of strike evil. As I said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I just pointed out comparison to Surah 5:45. And there are other instances, so many instances, where God demonstrated or asked the Muslim man to go out there and fight the enemy, strike the enemy. He even said, hide, and a booby trap, make it booby trap for them. Go after them, run after them, strike them. Allah made those comments. So whatever they have done, even if they haven't done anything, they've been commanded to strike them by the same Allah. That is very confusing. If Allah asks them to do that, why would he turn around and now make such a statement right here in the Quran, telling them again that you must not pay back evil with evil? Very well, knowing very well that he has also advised them in certain period before these ones that they can go ahead and do that. So take note of that and check it out yourself. The commentary is very clear. But if you read the whole from 93 to 18 to 118, from 93, verse 93 to 118 of Surah XXIII, you will get the message there. Now, I wanted to draw you to the women issue regarding women not to relate with outsiders. The Muslim woman is strongly advised not to have any relation. So that explains their attitude towards a relationship in way of their dressing and how to the men should not keep them in confinement, not in confinement in a room, but in a self-confinement sort of nature at all times. The way they dress, fully covered, never to expose anything. In some ways, it's only for the eyes of the husband or the beholder. So they are always kept in that sort of state. The body is so much kept away from the view of anyone who probably would in some sense would end up admiring them. So it is only for the men, the Muslim men. While the Muslims, the men are allowed to do as they please. They can marry anywhere they want to marry. But the women have been denied it. And it's entirely up to the women if they choose to like that kind of idea. That is their problem. But most Muslim women or Islamic people are not really in tune to that idea. But as we look for it here, the test will verify it. LX will be more clear to verify it and more helpful for us to see it here and then know it that it's actually there, and then we can read it and see if what we can make of it, And it says LX, L Lima Xylophone 1. The first chapter. It's all up to 13. But I think the first chapter is what we want. The first chapter says, O ye who believe, take not my enemies. Take not my enemies. That is Allah, clearly stating that it is his enemies. Take not my enemies and yours as friends. And they are yours and your enemy and my enemy as friends or protectors, offering them your love, even though they have rejected the truth that has come to you, and have on the contrary, driven out the prophet and yourselves from your homes, simply because ye believe in God your Lord. Simply because they've driven you out of home, simply because ye believe in the Lord your God. If ye have come out to strive in my way and to seek my good pleasure, take them not as friends, holding secret converse of love and friendship with them. For I know full well all that ye conceal and all that ye reveal. And any of you that does this has strayed from the straight path. If you do it, you have gone away from the straight path. That is the truth, the way which is better for you, according to what the Quran promises. So the women basically